And so to celebrate the new channel, SmokeySteveAndMarc International, which is not at all related to Marc or I, of course, we're just celebrating. You know, Bandit's going to be the CEO, and Oscar's going to be heading up external environmental services. Oh, and don't call me Steve. I go by Fabio now.
What the heck? What are you doing?
Celebrating
Celebrating.
the new channel.
Oh, God.
Can I show my tits on this one?
Oh my god.
I guess not. Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Marc's out at the moment, and this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It's the weekend, we know what that means. I'm having regular coffee with some almond milk and a little bit of like stevia or something like that. It's a little late in the day for coffee for me. I had some stuff to do this morning. So I hope everybody's well, I hope everybody's safe. Look after yourselves, look after each other. Because who knows what could come up next. So we're going to catch up with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, The Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, Beezer Limited, Two Beige Legs Productions, what the fuck else was it? It was, okay, so we didn't meet like this for a couple weeks. We were doing lives, and lives are fun. I like doing lives, but lives can get off track, especially if you're doing like a topic type of video, because the chat gets good, but it gets distracting from the major points of it. So since videos have their place on YouTube too, obviously, we're gonna dive in here. Now, where we left off, there was a lot of drama, nonsense, and the biggest thing pretty much being Natter's not talked about as much, but he's obviously around. And her channel was taken down. And blame went flying in 1,000 different directions as to why that happened. Not hers. There's no way she could have done something wrong on her channel to get her channel taken down. No, it must have been somebody else's fault, right? So there was some random Natter crap over the last couple weeks. Her going to the police to report Natter. She had shown that she had taken that back the next day, emailed him and said, don't do it. Sure, he did all those things, but I love him, or some dumb shit like that. Dee Dee and Natter still hanging out at his place. I think Dee Dee has changed finally. And then, you know, her kind of back and forth malleable details. Chantal plays fast and loose with the truth. So talking about any situation she was having. The most recent situation where the lies were overfloweth, or the changing of mind overfloweth, was with Natter. And then, hot diggity dog, diggity boom! We go on Omegle, and our channel is taken down. So, we'll be talking about today. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry that the channel's down. I mean, I am sorry, but, you know, it's not a surprise. Acceptance of her lost channel. Is she demonetized? Is she gone? Did she find out already? Because she's dropping hints like it's kind of hitting her a little bit. She's now starting over and using every other platform she can use. She's on Twitch, Patreon, Twitter, she's all active. She opened up Facebook a few weeks ago, but doesn't really use it. Discord, like she's all over the place. And she's not familiar with all of these mediums, so it's getting interesting. Let's see. She's not trying too hard, honestly. So I'll talk about what she's trying, and I'll show how she's not really doing well. And then I want to touch on Pete's, because Pete's is disclosed that he's going through something at the moment. Okay? So, get right back to where we started from. So the channel comes down. Gloria. And after 1,000 fuck yous and after 1,000 do what you gotta do. And keep in my channel, they'll never listen to you. Boom, channel's gone. And she seems stunned. If I only have 5 Beezers, I don't care. She didn't even have that at the time. Her channel being struck was for sexual content. The message she got back was that it was terminated due to either one act or multiple acts of sexual content that violated TOS and that mentioned nudity. and whatnot. Now, people put this back on the Omegle incident that had gone on over the last few weeks. Like a week and a half ago, I think. That's what actually precipitated her channel getting taken down. She broke TOS by showing a little bit too much in a situation where there was possibly a minor involved, and she was streaming Omegle, and she was told not to do it, and was told it was too close to the edge, and she did it 2 more times because she won't be told. And then there goes the channel. There it goes. So the strike, or the termination, happened because of the content on Chantal's channel. It did not occur. They didn't put a little asterisk and said, we all really know it's because Charlie's friends are mean, but we'll just say it's because of this. You can tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep, and that it wasn't you playing fast and loose with TOS thinking you were untouchable. You flew a little too close to the sun, Icarus, and you fucking fell. You weren't the first person to do it. It happens, but now you have to start over and do work. More work. So, let's see. Okay, if you guys have jobs, whether you're YouTubers or you work part-time or you're retired and maybe you worked before, even volunteered, anywhere where you have to be with other people and work gets done and there's rules. My employer has rules, okay? I don't make it a point to push as far as I can the rule book at my employer, even squirting my way around some of them, trying to not squirt, God. Getting around them, not trying to, have to get in trouble for them. Then, when I do get in trouble for them, go on social media and blame my boss for me violating the rule book and saying my snitchy, mean coworkers were the ones that did it to me, that I was not at fault. So that dick didn't show up, the fupa wasn't there, none of that stuff happened. It was instigated by Charlie Gold and you were porn spammed. Okay, honey. Like I said, whatever you need. I don't know. You're working now, so I mean, you had it really good for a really long time. Most people, that doesn't go on forever. A lot of us get our comeuppance with that kind of thing. So, karma's a word that was used a lot, and even I used it. But another word, and I forget, it was someone in the comments, please identify yourself, that used the word comeuppance a few times, and it's probably more appropriate. So, let's see. Rule of thumb. Don't complain about your boss online. She was going at YouTube. So she's off YouTube, but she's on Twitter now, and then Instagram, and then she starts showing up on Discord and Patreon and OnlyFans, which she had been before her channel was taken down, and she was using that as an outlet too. I had a chance to look at some of the outlet from her party with those other 2 YouTubers. It left a lot to be desired. Now I am homosexual, but if I wasn't before, I might be now. So just putting that out there, if you're going to check things to do reviews or anything like that, you might be left feeling some sort of way afterwards. So, let's see. If you don't get it by now, why the channel was off, she probably won't. She probably won't understand. Some people are pathologically incapable of taking responsibility. She'll take it a little bit. She'll be like, so yes, technically it was this, technically it was that. That's what rules are for. So when you do this, there's this behavior isn't okay. That's the technicality. That means you broke this rule. Well, technically I broke it. No, you broke it. That's like being technically pregnant. You either are or you aren't. You broke it. You broke it. And you took some responsibility, but then when you get angry, we all really know that she feels like it was somebody else's fault. And she was robbed and it was taken from her. You don't own the channel. Like, I don't own my channel. Like, I don't own the space. Like, it's not really mine, per se. I didn't invent YouTube. I don't call the shots on what's TOS and what's not. That's not where I play in the food chain of what YouTube is. I get a $10.99 once a year for however much we made that year, and that's it. I don't get meeting minutes from Google or YouTube. I don't get held in on phone calls that should be important to someone like me because I'm down on the food chain, and what happens to me as far as YouTube is probably not that serious because it's huge. YouTube is huge. There's plenty of people on there who think that they were unjustly kicked out. She's the only innocent man in prison. You know what I mean? So, at any rate. So now what? This is her situation. She has no YouTube, and that's all she ever did for years was sit around, especially in the last year, and play fast and loose with a lot of terms of use. Even not violating TOS, some of her content was felt to be depending on your perspective, perhaps unsavory, because there was a lot of discussion and a lot of video of her being intoxicated, and then talk about drugs. Now, the drugs she was talking about were not the ones that she was usually intoxicated on. She would come on camera stoned. But other things had been... Steve, personal opinion, has been going on, just reading what's been going with it. Well, that costs money, too. So bye-bye Lemon Z, whatever the stuff is that you would probably have to, sell one of your cars to go buy. No. Whew. Sorry, needed a moment there. So accepting this loss and taking responsibility is out the window. Let's just get over it. It's not going to happen. So let's talk about just accepting this loss that we think we were wrongly given. So, I'm sure, she said it was on her channel, but it's Charlie's fault. Whatever. Okay. Then she's now in the position where she's thrown over these different platforms, because YouTube, she had 90,000 subscribers, give or take 1,000, probably over 91,000, I think she had hit, and probably felt a little untouchable. And then kaboom, there goes her channel. Now, Chantal had only previously been on Instagram as her other social media, and she'd pop up on other ones, probably with like fake accounts or whatever. But primarily you would see or hear from her on Instagram or YouTube. Well, there goes YouTube. So what's left? All these other platforms that she knows nothing about and never bothered to research, because she just wants her YouTube. Not mad at her, it was her livelihood. But she's got to understand that she doesn't live in Chantal's world. She lives in the world. The world has rules. These organizations have rules. Even Minx has rules to follow at work, I'm sure. So in starting over, when she goes onto these different things, she was on Twitch, and she was on Patreon still, and like I said, OnlyFans, and she was on Facebook for a very hot second, and then off Discord. So she thinks she's going to go into these places and just own them, because all she has to do is show up. And the big question she had for all of these were like, how many subs do I have? Is that good? Every so often she'd say into it, how many subs do I have? Is it good? And there are folks who are bringing content from Patreon, OnlyFans, other places, and bringing it on to YouTube so it's visible. So I'm not personally subscribed to her other channels, but I've seen the content other places. If she wants to fight with that, she can fight with that too. It's her call. She has more important, pressing things going on, though, than trying to fight over who stole her stuff on Twitter, especially when we're selling the laptop because we either can't pay the rent or the weed man. So something else is going on, I think. But nevertheless, she's trying to make it sound kind of like good. Like, maybe it was part of God's plan that she loses her channel. Maybe it was all part of something better, that she'll be a huge star on Stitch, Twitch, whatever. She'll be a big deal there. And that all of this, 90,000 will seem small compared to what she pulls out next. So, their motives in reporting Chantal, we'll say this again about them reporting Chantal. Because, again, she keeps pointing to Charlie and Charlie's friends, the people that she has. She believes Charlie snaps her fingers and they run. I don't know Charlie's MO like that or watch her channel like that. That's not where I get my Chantal videos from, or it wasn't, so I don't really know about that. But still, she's pointing at them and not at herself at all. It's your responsibility. And so now she's going to have to start over. So what do? We find the apps and we humiliate ourselves on all of them because we don't know how any of them work. We don't know kind of the MO of how these things work, as I'm watching her do it. The one's a gamer stream, and all of a sudden she's going to be a gamer channel and she get a gamer laptop, which she doesn't know what to do. She was panicked and didn't know what to do. So first she was pissed, and then she was okay with it, and then she decided it wasn't her fault. Then she decided it was everybody's fault, from YouTube to Charlie to Beezers who abandoned her, to everybody else. Everybody else. She hasn't read TOS, I can guess, from any of these other apps that she's going to be on now, which is going to have the same bullshit problem as she had with YouTube. Whose job is it to read this shit to you? And no, a chat room is not Google. When we have questions about medications, ways of life, recipes, anything, she doesn't even get up. She just rolls from one end of the house to the other and has somebody tell her what she thinks she needs to know. Can somebody tell me this? When's my next appointment? Your ass ain't that pretty that you can pull off spoiled shit like that. I mean, when I say pretty, I mean precious, like sweet. I don't mean pretty like physically pretty. She is wearing her head shaved now more often than the wigs. You know, to each their own. If she likes it, she likes it. It's her head. She can do what she wants. I have longer hair right now than she does, which doesn't necessarily mean anything again, but her wig game wasn't so tight. It looks like it's getting a little better, but it wasn't so great to begin with. So in this starting over, now we're starting over again. We've accepted that this is bullshit and I've been screwed, but we'll go forward. She had a fresh new place to start, fresh new accounts. Her aunt came over and cleaned her apartment. So she had a fresh new apartment, clean, to hang out in. It already looks like it's filthy. She hasn't read TOS for any of them. She's asking, like I said, the viewers to do it for her. And she wants the same VIBs to subscribe. So they have to create a screen name and a login for all of these. And if they really want to be good beezers, they'll pay at each one of these if they need to. So some of them you have to put together enough followers and then you can become partner. They all have their own lingo. You become partner and then you can start making some like ad money, stuff like that. Some platforms have like you can donate, like a PayPal link where you can donate. She was very excited about that. Because the harder you make it to have people donate stuff to you or to give you money or whatever, the worse it is. So you want to make it as streamlined as possible if you're living off of this stuff like her, that you got to make that easy. And making up accounts and wrangle, or the Beezers don't want to do it. They've been scattered in this terrible time. So she's going to do videos on those few mediums until her appeal comes back. Now, between me, you, these walls, and the cat, I don't think she won the appeal. I think at the very least she was demonetized and probably is just like, oh, well, fuck it. If I'm not going to make money, I'm not going to bother. She would not have put the energy into starting 4 new channels if she actually believed her channel was going to come back, I think. So she either got word back and it's denied, she got word back and it was demonetized, or she got word back and they said, you can tell your story walking. Bye. So, all right. So until that, we're just going to see her on all these little platforms. She'll start talking. It was funny because the chats weren't up, but they were having some stuff at the bottom. And the questions people were asking who weren't Chantal's ass pack crowd were like, this is boring. Are you just talking to the chat? You know, do something. People had an expectation that Chantal's got comfy with the idea that she can just sit on camera, talk, and that people will pay her. There's more competition in some of these other places to do something more interesting than that. So she isn't going to come in and be famous. She's not going to roll into one of these places and say, Natter was mean to me. Nobody cares who he is. No one knows who he is, you know, except for the VIBs. And again, they're scattered all over the place. It was like when the Tower of Babel crashed, and they were spread all over the place and people went everywhere. Kind of like that. They'll try to find each other once she settles down on 1 or 2 mediums that she likes. She'll keep the OnlyFans because it's money and because it pays. She's got a fetish angle to the kind of sexual things she does. And so for folks who like it, there won't be a ton, but those who like it will pay out the ass. So that's a stream from me and for her. Patreon, she didn't invent Patreon. A lot of people use Patreon. A lot of people I like use Patreon. There's nothing greedy or stingy about that. It was just the immediate rollover that she made into it. It wasn't like something she had participated in before or used before. Now it's like money, 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 money. And we'll see. Somebody asked, how are you going to live on $1,000 next month? She didn't seem bothered, but I know if I had a relative like Chantal, who after years and years and years was just so self-important and so smug and all of that, and I would say a family member, and she came to me looking to borrow money because she screwed up her job, I don't know. I mean, that's the first people I would think to go to because I have family. Even if they said no, they'd be the first people I would probably ask because they're closer to my inner circle. I wouldn't flash everybody and then invite them to pay me for it. Now we go about things differently. Chantal is not Steve. Chantal was not Steve. And it would be handled differently. So we'll see. So Subs are scattered, there's no central meeting place. Little Natter content, so she's been in touch with him in some way. She's talking again in these other polls from Patreon and these other places. I'm not really talking about Natter anymore. We don't really have anything going on. I only think of him twice a week. Okay. And then a few videos later, I don't know what I did. Was it wrong? Was it blah? Was it blah? Do you know Dee Dee is still there? They haven't left the apartment. Oh my God. You are like 2 months from homeless. And you're worried about Dee Dee? Like, Natter's moving. All these people that you have problems with have other lives that they're going on with that don't involve Chantal. Like, Natter's moving. He's doing other stuff. He might get a couple 50, 60, $100 off of her in the near future for gas to get where he's moving to, but he's not going to stay put, you know, and he's not going to probably invite her over. The reason to move is because you feel like there's better choices somewhere else. Usually. So, at any rate. So, in an effort to skirt TOS and to create a channel, Chantal put up this. Okay. So, what? Now, I don't know much about business, okay, at all, and I don't pretend to because I don't want to make a lot of mistakes, but something about it being a sole proprietorship and her saying she owns the channel and then in the next breath saying she doesn't, I couldn't keep up with that. It doesn't make sense. And then to come on as Minx. Have we met Minx? Minx is Chantal with Halloween makeup and Ramona's wig. Okay? And sat there, Minx. So she's playing the character because she works for Beezer Productions Unlimited. Is that what the fucking thing is? Beezer? There was one name she gave it. It was Beezer Productions. And somebody actually already owned that name. Copyrighted, had it. And wrote Chantal and said, you know, get off my fucking lawn. Pretty much. So she came with Beezer's Unlimited. The Beezer Show type thing. So she's trying a little ban evasion type stuff. Well, is it ban evasion? She's not coming back on her own channel. She's under somebody's. But is ban evasion about her being present on the platform, or is it about her having an account on the platform? Could she make another account? I've watched people over and over who do this account gaming thing, and it never works out. They get sick of playing with it. Like, I don't know if y'all know Miss Gloria, Miss Huzzy. Channel was canceled. The first one. And then came back and got canceled again. And came back and got pulled again. And then was trying to use demonetized YouTuber methods to try to get it back. Funding. Here's my PayPal. Here's my Cash App. And again, a lot of people use those. But they usually don't go on YouTube where they're not making money to go ask for money. You know, I don't know. But at any rate, I don't think she's going to want to hop back on YouTube and start zero, trying to get back up to 90,000 again. She doesn't want to work for what she thinks is free. She thinks she's working for free at the moment. And she doesn't like that. It's rebuilding her brand, which all she's done so far is just expand the platform of people who she's now disgusted. I'm just saying. I'm not talking. I'm just saying, you know. Yeah, again, ban evasion. Sole proprietor, telling everyone you're a boss. Which story fits today? Which fits today? I don't know. This hustling is too hard. And by the way, if this was a gift from God and a new door opening, then shouldn't you thank Charlie Gold for showing you the open door and a way out? I mean, that would make sense. I would think. I mean, if she's the one who caused it and you're happy with the outcome, or let's see, everything's wrong with that. She didn't cause it, and you have no idea about the outcome because you can't see past tomorrow as far as consequences. Hence, Minx. Now, Minx is the character who works at Beezer Unlimited. This is what Chantal set up. Okay. She created a character, okay, that works at a corporation. Beezer fucktards, whatever it is. And she's playing a character. Not Chantal, she goes by Minx, and she will go by Minx. And again, kind of gothic-y looking. And keeps telling people in the chat, oh, I'm not Chantal, my name is Minx. Okay, so people were asking questions, she would keep replying, my name is Minx. People would ask questions of her that would be totally towards Foodie Beauty. Kind of like, how are you so against deplatforming for you, but when it came to Charlie Gold, you were ready to strike her into the ground. And she would kind of talk in circles around that and say, well, I don't know, but if maybe I was in that situation, I think deplatforming is wrong. Minx has the same sense of reason that Chantal does. It seems like they have lunch together sometimes because she has the same sort of idea that other people's actions are what caused this and not hers. Not hers. If there's no there, YouTube would go through with a fine-tooth comb. I've seen people do worse things and get their channel back or not have it get hit at all. But when you go on to nudity and you go on to other stuff and you think, hey, what are they going to do? I make them so much money. What are you, PewDiePie? Yeah, you're not. None of us are making that much money. You're closer to my size channel than you are his. Okay, let's not get ourselves all big and high and mighty. So, anyway, so it's too hard for her to do this, and so now she's trying to hustle. Watching her hustle in almost a state of panic, it looks like. Gotta try this, gotta try that, gotta try that. And to her credit, she's doing it, but to her discredit, she's half-assing it. You can't half-ass it. And especially when you've been set back so far. You know, like, double time. Like, 12-hour days. I know sitting on YouTube for 12 hours sucks, but you did it last time. You did it before. You just didn't do it for free. So you can't get people to pay you for being on YouTube or on any other place like that until so many people watch, so many hours go by, and they're different for each of those too. Or if they've paid, or if you've had so many hours of streaming that you can then get reimbursed or partner with the platform, other things like that. So she's just trying to hustle, but you know what? We all hustle, and if her hustle game is any good, she'll set herself up again, pretty nice, and she'll go on. And she'll go on with it. And she can say, I told you so, and Natter hit me, and, Pete's doesn't pay his part of the rent, and I'm going to move to Jamaica and Eurobees, and all this other stuff that she talks about in circles. It's not that any of those things are necessarily bad to talk about, or that they're unimportant. It's just that it's like over and over and over. And she sometimes makes up stuff for no reason. Like stuff you don't need to lie about. Like, oh, Steve, what are you drinking? Oh, it's tea. This is coffee. But I'll lie about it because why not? That doesn't make too much sense to me. So she's still going on. Going on. The hustling is too hard. She's giving it very little effort. I don't think anyone cares on like Discord about Mean Girl stuff on YouTube. Like, I don't. And I've heard that the gamers will shred her there on that platform. So we'll see. And again, the hustling involving Minx, the fake office character, it's bad. It's bad. Check it out. I normally don't recommend it, but go find it on, she's not even up now. Go find it and check it out if you can. It's sad. It's sad because it's like starting from the beginning, trying to rebrand herself to her audience on a channel that may or may not be ban evasion. And we'll see where that goes. It just looks so desperate. It looks so, I take it back. Fine, I'll work. But it's like too little too late. The sweetest plum is gone. It was taken advantage of, and then it was taken away because of actions taken by the owner of the channel. No matter how many other times, you can say it 5,000 other ways. That's still what happened. So, leave that there. Because I don't really want to give her too much more attention about that. That's generally what's kind of going on now, is that. She had a few videos tucked in here and there where she talked about missing Natter, where she talked about Beezer Unlimited and the Beezer show that she's going to be, I guess, producing. I don't anticipate that she can't keep up this pace. Personal opinion, me, Steve. She can't keep up this pace of hustling, even though she can do it all from sitting down. She gets bored and she's lazy. She'll be the first to tell you she's a little lazy and she gets bored with things quick. She's not going to want to bounce between 5 different apps, sending messages, talking to people, keeping up storylines that are consistent along all of them if she's going to use her life as material. She could use something. Here's a stunning thought. Talk about something else. Anything else. Anything else. Go back to mukbangs. You know? I mean, you're about 50 pounds away from 400, but maybe something like that. Something nice and not controversial. Let's go back to the days when people were worried about whether or not she was promoting eating disorders by binging on camera. Doesn't that seem like really silly and tame right now compared to this? So, one last thing I want to mention, and this is for Pete's James, because this is like a human thing. This isn't like her drama bullshit complaining thing. He had a video that he put out, or that came out this week, saying that he is questioning his gender identity. He said he spoke with his mother and another family member first in person to tell them what it was going on, that he'd been thinking about it for a few years. And then I guess Chantal maybe came with to be a good friend. Of course, if she sat in the car, I don't know. But she was apparently there, and she was to be some sort of support. And in a situation like that, which is very delicate. Now, I would argue that coming out as possibly trans or something, non-binary would probably have been harder for my parents to understand than the gay thing. I really, really do. So there's a little extra bit of stigma that goes with it. But he put it out there, and then he made a video saying this is what's been going on. To Pete's credit, he said he's been in therapy, not for this, but for his depression and other stuff going on. And this had come up. So I say, go ahead. Pete's, stay away from transphobes. Or people who may otherwise confront you about your lifestyle and not discuss it with you or support you with how you're doing. So just saying. But I mean, if he's happier, if he feels more comfortable in his own skin, Pete deals with depression. If putting on a wig and being Ramona for a few minutes a day will keep him from taking his own life, I will go buy the wigs with him. I will help him pick out clothes. It's not necessarily wrapped in with him having mental health concerns that he's exploring his gender identity. I would suspect, though I don't know, so suspicion is it's bullshit mostly, that it's an ongoing process with gender identity, that you can maybe find layers and layers and layers of yourself that you maybe didn't know before. You think you're one person, and then you find you're another, and then it evolves over time. Even people who go in transition, beginning to the full transition physically, maybe they do none of the physical stuff. Maybe they identify as trans, they identify as queer, or they identify as they. The singular they, it's not as hard as people whine about, but it's not as easy as people who use it think, okay? It's not. The temptation's to say him, her, because that's all we did until a few years ago. So it takes time. I want to be respectful, but you got to appreciate that we're altering language we've used for a very long time. And that non-binary to me means nothing. Until I heard the definition of it. I thought it had to do with colors on the color wheel. I think that's primary colors. So I hope he's doing well. I hope he's doing fine. I hope he has support. And I hope he finds support, like I said, online, because he's not going to go out and meet people. He's just not that type to do it. And Chantal has kept herself in the company of men who've said things about folks who are not gender typical necessarily. She's used it weaponized as an insult against Dee. Chantal has. So I think she does it just to be rude and outrageous. Thing is, though, she's turned the idea of being not cisgender male into a slur. It's like, oh, I think Dee a man. Well, why would you whisper it, and why say it like that? And why would you question it? If you want to know Dee's gender, you can ask her. Asking us makes it seem like you really want to know. Well, you do really want to know. Your life's going to be more full if you find out what's between their legs. So you better just get down there now and look. It's nobody's business. The part of his statement that was his business was asking, just explaining where he was at. He didn't ask for anything other than maybe, I don't even think he asked for support, but that's what the kind of person like this needs. So that's where I feel about with Pete's and where he's going with his decision that he feels a bit like a woman inside, or he feels very different inside, and he's exploring that. He's exploring it with a shrink. Hopefully he has some online help with maybe his chat or other people, and that he can find out who he is. Pete deserves to be happy like the rest of us. Even Chantal deserves to be happy, the lying wench. you know, I wouldn't take that away from her. But if we don't take actions that like contribute to our own happiness and stability and sense of self, then it can be surprising when, if we're irresponsible, our life falls apart. But it shouldn't be surprising unless someone's always caught us before. Unless we made the mess and somebody else always cleaned it up. This is Chantal's mess to clean up. This is no one else's to take blame. This is not about YouTube's clicking structure, about if you report a video and they stack up and that's what got me in trouble. It's none of that shit. It's none of that shit. Basically, it's getting her shit together all over again. If she does get her channel back on appeal, she seems to think it'll be months. And if she gets it back, you can lose followers quick on that. So she's trying to keep her face out there, her words. And we'll see if she's able to do that going forward. I don't know. Her streams aren't interesting on these other channels because she doesn't have the same people asking the same questions. How's Nader? What's for dinner? You know, what's this and that? And the people coming in the chat are like, what the hell is this? They're not amused by it. They don't think it's kitschy and cute because they're not paying to be there. So they're just like, what the fuck is this? So I hope she can go paint her own rainbows and find her place outside of YouTube, maybe later on YouTube. Minx is ridiculous. It looks ridiculous acting it out. I get the character. Maybe fun in the bedroom, but not for social media. It looks stupid. It sounds stupid. The fact that, what is this? Bandit's my CEO and Oscar's the COO. I'll just start naming my cats executives. And then what's Marc? Janitor? I don't get it. What else can you say other than that? So thank you all for watching. Thank you for viewing. Please do subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get alerts when we have new videos and go live. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, our email address, contact info, P.O. Box, all that's below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. We are going live. Our regular Sunday live is at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you're free, don't hesitate. Stop on by and say hello. All right? Thanks for watching. Bye.